All right, time to start another meal. So, have a few things I have to prep first. So, I'm going to make this real simple. I'm going to try to do a, what do you call it, a steak and rice bowl, which I'm trying to get the recipe just right for, which still needs some work, because I'm not perfect, nor am I any kind of chef. So I'm learning as I go. But first step, we're going to need the rice. So I'm going simple with it. It's just instant rice. So I'm going to prep a cup of rice, and then we just need a cup of water. And let's see here. Nice and easy. Oh, let me bring the pan over here so I don't spill it. There we go. A cup of rice. Or a cup of water and a cup of rice. Excuse me. So, one little trick here is this little sucker right here. This is one of those beef bouillon cubes, to make broth. Because we're going to have steak in there, instead of having super plain rice, plop that sucker in and heat it up. That's all it takes. Now we're at the stove, and I'm just going to kick the heat on. I hope I got the right one. Yep, there it is. Okay. So I'm just going to use the small burner over here, put it on a nice decent heat, and as this water starts to boil, it's going to melt down our little cube right there. And it will make beef flavored water. Which sounds stupidly simple, and it is. But this is the longest part of this recipe, is just getting the rice. So we're going to go ahead and heat up the water, and we'll be back shortly. Well, that didn't take long. We've already got boiling water, which has plenty of flavor to it. So let's go ahead and, brought my rice over here, top. Plop, just dump it in. It's not that hard. And then, I forgot a fork. Whoops. Just something simple. We want to stir it, get it all nice and mixed up. Because it's all you got to do for the rice. Well, that and you got to wait for it. Because this is instant rice. So I'm kind of cheating a little. Just a little. And then we'll just let that boil for a moment. Just so everything gets nice and, cooked properly. And that way the water gets nice and hot before I cover it with the lid. And then we're just going to let it simmer. Because it'll just simmer under its own heat. Alright, here we go. Give it a lid. Never keep a boiling pot covered. But that's okay, we're going to turn it off. Give it just a few seconds. Okay. That's that. We'll come back in like 10 minutes to make sure the rice has cooked. And then we'll start the steak. See you then. Okay, we're back. And it looks like our rice is quite done. Let's take a good look at it real quick, just to make sure. So let's see here. Yep, the rice is nice and fluffy and beef flavored. Cool. So that part's done. Let's take a step. Oops. Let's take a step over here to the frying pan. We're going to first clean up the mess I made. It's rice. It's delicious. Let's see. Get a somewhat low heat going here. There we go. Because the plan here is to cook nice and slow. So, let the pan warm up just a little here. I'm going to get some butter in there. Let's see. Also I need to pull the steak out. After all, we can't cook the steak without the steak. Set that aside for now. And let's see here. Get my butter open. It's being very combative. Alright, let's see. From the sound you can tell I am not very prepared. I'm doing this while I'm hungry, so yeah. I'm not exactly thinking this through. When are my videos ever well thought out? Answer is never. I do everything on the fly. Screw it. Even the editing is very minor. So we'll just get some butter in the pan here because we need to warm up some garlic and some onion. All right, there we go. Just a little more. Just a tiny bit more. There. All right, so we got some butter in there. It's not as much as it looks like. It's very thin. I didn't put that much. I'd say that's probably, I don't know, 2 pats of butter. Not that that's much of a measurement, but still. You get the idea. It isn't a great deal. So let's get some of this in here. So look, it's just enough to coat my pan and give us a thin layer. It's not much. And we're going to need it. Now we'll get some garlic, using actual garlic for a change, instead of garlic powder. Just drop a little in the pan here. And then I'm going to get my dehydrated onions, which are part of the reason why we're using so much butter. Part of. I know it looks like a lot, and I said it's not a lot, but it's more than I would usually use. Here they are. Get my minced dehydrated onions. Just drop some in the pan, because those are going to suck up some of that butter. There we go. Let's go ahead and just get everything in here. Nice and fragrant. Like once you start smelling that onion and garlic, it's ready to go. I mean, you can even skip that part, really. But let's go ahead and, oh, right. I need to cut that pack of beef open. Like I said, super prepared. Actually, I find myself wishing I had trimmed the beef a little. It's a little fattier on the edges than I'd like it to be, but oh well. It is what it is. And don't mind that the purple. It was that color when I bought it that way. So we'll just drop our steak pieces in here. We can trim the beef later. All right, and then we add the juice. We want it all. We want all the moisture. All right, now what we're going to do is, whoops, I'm going to wash my hands because I got blood on me. Give me just a sec here. Don't want to get sick. Always be careful with your food. All right, there we go. So now, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper for those. Just a dash of salt. A dash of pepper. Give them a little flip. Just so we season both sides. Plus, this way the garlic and the onions get to get on both sides as well. Give it a little toss. Dusting of pepper. And a gentle dusting of salt. That's it. All right. Now, we're going to cook this slow and low and covered. This is going to take a while. Because ideally, we want all those juices that are going to be locked in here. Sure, the meat's going to be great when we're done, but whatever. These are thin little cuts. But we want all that juice because it's all going to wind up in the rice eventually. So it kind of, how should I put it? It adds even more moisture and more flavor to our rice. We'll come back to this later. See you in a bit. All right, it's been about 5 or 6 minutes now. We've had this sucker cooking for a bit. Let's take a look and see what we've got. You can see it's been boiling in its juices. In fact, we have more now because some of the fat has been rendered. So actually leaving it in was a good idea. Well, it was a happy accident. You can see we've got gray floppy meat, which is not very appealing looking. But it is cooked. It is definitely cooked through now. So we have options now. We can take all this juice and dump it into the rice over there as part of a sauce, or like a sauce, I should say. Because we are going to take this meat and cut it up now. That is something we're definitely going to do. So see you over at the cutting board. Okay, now we're over at the cutting board. We got our meat here. So we're going to go ahead and just plop it right on the cutting board. Nice and simple. I'm going to go drop this back on the stove. I'm going to scrape out this fat though. I don't want to eat this later. Well, actually I guess I'll just set it aside because I'll just scrape it off later. But now we have all this nice juice and rendered fat. And it still has garlic and onion in it. And that's going to go in our bowl. Let's see here. In fact, since it's going in our rice anyway, right in it goes. Because we're not going to use this any other way. So get it, just dump it right on in. And give it a good mixing. We're still going to use the pan. There we go. I'm going to set that aside for now. Because I needed the fork. So we're back over here at the, not that you guys have left, I did. Sorry. Again, perfectly organized, right? There we go. As you can see, it is definitely cooked all the way through. Excuse me. So we're just going to give it some nice slice in here. You can cut these slices as small as you want. It's up to you. You're the one doing the cutting. Alright, and then... Well, most of the fat rendered, so I don't need to trim it off anymore. There may be a few small pieces. Here, we even got... well, a slight bit of pink here. Barely. Which is fine. It's still delicious. And that's actually what you would prefer to have anyways. Slightly rare to retain some of the beef flavor. I mean, we're going to have a lot of beef flavor in the rice and everything else anyhow. I just missed. Alrighty, and then... Okay, that cut wasn't as clean as I hoped it would be. I was hoping for a nice split, but, you know, whatever. I'm a bit clumsy sometimes. There we go. Those pieces are nice and cut up. Alright, this one still has a big chunk of fat on it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. The fat's going to wind up in the garbage, because I don't want to eat it. I don't know about you all, but if I wanted to chew gum all day, I'd just, well, get a stick of gum. Instead of chewing on fat. Unrendered fat is just gross. It doesn't... It adds flavor, don't get me wrong, but that's the stuff that renders out and, you know, retains flavor. This, I'm not eating that. It's gross. It is done providing its flavor. There we go. Okay. Split all that. Now we can do one of two things. We can just put this right in the bowl, it's done. Or we can try to get some color on this. I'm actually going to make an attempt to get some color on it. So let me heat the pan back up real quick. Alright. So that low heat we had, we're not using that anymore. We're using a higher heat now, like medium. And just for that little time I had the pan on there, like it's just the remnants of the fat and the butter and everything else in the pan. I didn't wash it. Everything is going right back in the pan. Let me move this over here a bit so it won't hit the counter. We're just bringing all the meat back into the pan because we're going to try to put a little sear on it, just a little. I wasn't successful in this before, so it might just not work again. We're going to find out, but let's go back to the stove. All right, we're back at the stove. Oops. Pan handle, and you can see we got higher heat now. Oops. Let me get my lids out of the way. There we go. Okay, so now with our very, I promise it's not this light colored, it's just the camera doing that. But we're going to try, hear it sizzle. We're going to try to put some color on it real quick, just so it looks better, you know, nicer presentation. This may take a moment or two, or a minute or two even. We shall see. So we're going to wait about 15 seconds before we start trying to, actually, you know, while we're waiting for that, we're going to get the rice in a bowl, because we still got the bowl from earlier. So while I'm waiting for that, our nice rice is going in the bowl. You may as well be efficient about it. Goodness knows I haven't been efficient today. Listen to that beef sizzle. Mmm, fantastic. That's going to be so good. There we go. Wash this pan. Rinse this pan out real quick. Oh, I can hear that sizzling from here. Okay. All right, rinse my pan out so nothing gets stuck. Okay, so we've had about, I don't know, about 40 seconds or so of, oh yeah, it's starting to stick. Excellent. Normally that would be a bad thing, but there we go. We're getting some color. Because that's what we're after. We're just after some coloration. A little sear is good for meat. It makes it taste better, in my opinion. We're not talking about burning it, it's just slightly searing the edges and such. Slightly searing the surface even. You just have to gently turn over every single piece. Man, I might speed this part of the video up. Oops. It's getting a little sticky because there's nothing in here anymore. There's no more oil, there's no more fat on the pan. It's just burning right off. And that's kind of what we want. I'll be scrubbing this pan for a while, but that's alright. That's the price you have to pay for good food. Sometimes you have to do extra work to clean it up. Or extra work to get it there in the first place. This is like a really bad minigame right now. Oh yeah, look at all that sear on that meat. Come on. And no, I can't just pick up the pan and flip it over. It won't work that way. Oh, that got on the side instead of the face. One of the faces seared, not the edges. Oops. Well, it is what it is. Come on. Come on, you good thing. Just a little more. Last one. Damn it. Nope, you stay on that face. Okay. Now we just get a little more browning because look at all that. Look at all that slight char. That will actually enhance the flavor. That's why we want to do it just ever so slightly. Because if you burn it, it's going to taste burnt. What the hell is here? Excuse me a sec. Oh, okay. Never mind. I heard a massive truck go down the street. I don't live on a main road. It was a massive truck. Whatever. Anyway, the distractions of a quiet neighborhood. I can live with that. All right, let's see here. This is one of the... Yep, there we go. Okay, the meat's ready. That was one of the first pieces we flipped, and it's already getting a good sear on that side too. And that's part of the reason why I left the burning oils in the bottom of the pan, because it will add color and flavor at the same time without actually burning the meat. You're just burning, like the char is coming from the burnt stuff at the bottom of the pan. I know I said sear, don't burn, blah, 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 blah. It is what it is, you know. Here's our nice bowl of rice that we're going to add this to. I got to sit over here on the other side of the stove. See? Alrighty. Excuse me while I do this. I got to lean over the phone so I can get it in there. Now, if you wanted to like rehydrate the meat, because it is a little dry, you got two options right here. Mix it into the rice, or those juices that we dumped into the rice earlier, I could have saved those, set them aside, and dumped them on the meat afterward like a sauce. But there we go. Now we have a beef and rice bowl. I'm pushing my meat into the rice. Okay, that sounds awful. Sorry. But anyway, I'm pushing the meat into the rice so that it can draw on some of that juice in there. But otherwise, that's about it. I'm going to go enjoy. Thanks for watching.